Just before 7 today, an active shooter situation has unfolded in Midtown Manhattan. Now, there were reports of multiple people shot, including NYPD officers. This is a developing story, so we will give you all the details as they come in. Additionally, federal judges are still blocking legislation that has been passed by Congress and that was in the big, beautiful bill, so we'll discuss that. Sydney Sweeney is hot, and the left is really pissed off about it, so we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, why don't you guys head on over to castbrew.com and buy some coffee. We've got the brand new 1776 Josie's Signature Blend. You can go and get 2 weeks till Christmas, which is my blend. And of course, you can get the ever popular, where is it? Ian's Graphene Dream. We've got the K-Cups for your Keurig machine now. You can check those out. Then, if you want, you can head on over to timcast.com and become a member, so that way you can join us in the after show. You can join the Discord, and you can call in the after show. You can talk to all of the cast here. You can talk to our guests. And you also should head on over to rumble.com and become a member there so you can actually watch the after show. So, joining us tonight to talk about this and all these other things is Dr. Stella Immanuel.
Hello.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm actually a frontline doctor, and I think a lot of people remember me from 2020 when I stood at the steps of the Supreme Court to say COVID was treatable and people didn't have to die. And of course, I got beat up by the media and everything, but survived it. We just came back from the steps of the Supreme Court, 5-year anniversary, reminding the world that the battle is still on.
Awesome.
So I'm a physician, a minister of the gospel.
Awesome. So we'll get into that. Shane is here.
It's amazing to be here with Dr. Immanuel. She's one of the brave faces during lockdown. So awesome. Thank you for being here. I am Shane Cashman, host of Inverted World Live. We will be live tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern. I'll have Brad Binkley on with me. We'll talk about Epstein and Trump. And I'm also going to continue talking about the Area 51 fires. And who knows? We have open phone calls till midnight. So you guys give us a call. What's up, Elaad?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Shane. I am Elaad Eliyahu, White House correspondent and field reporter here at Timcast. Recently, it's been covering a lot of ICE detainment of illegal aliens in New York City, which has been a lot of fun. Let's get into some other news.
Awesome. So the post-millennial is, you know what? Before we get into this, I want you to smash the like button, share the show with all of your friends, okay? So make sure that you spread the word, because it is because of people like you sharing the show and spreading the word that we are able to do this. So let's get right into it. From the post-millennial, breaking active shooter, multiple people shot, including NYPD at 51st and Park Ave in Midtown Manhattan. An active shooter situation has been reported in Manhattan with an NYPD officer reportedly among those shot. Per Fox 5, a heavy police presence was seen in the area of 51st Street and Park Avenue. Witnesses reported hearing gunshots. Police sources told ABC7 that an officer and civilians were shot in the streets outside of 354 Park Ave, where the suspect fled. It is alleged that the shooter had a rifle, semi-automatic rifle, and there are reports that the shooter is down now. Now, I don't know if it's a self-inflicted wound or if it was the police that actually managed to stop the shooter, but the dying is over, apparently. So that's some good news. Let's see. Tom Winters reporting that the NYPD is responding to a reported active shooter incident at 52nd and Park Ave, specifically 345 Park Ave. If I understand correctly, it wasn't on the street. It was actually on the 33rd floor of the building. So that leads you to believe that he was after an individual. But again, these are just reports, nothing confirmed. And now we're kind of just pontificating. But there is the obligatory, New York City, these types of rifles are illegal, so you would wonder how one would be able to carry out an attack like that, considering gun control is supposed to have made New York very, very safe. But I don't think that is actually a reality. So, but I want to know, Elaad, you're from New York. What do you know about the area? What do you know about the laws there, the police response?
I actually worked about a dozen blocks from here when I was younger, like 5, 6 or so years ago. It has a ton of foot traffic. There's a lot of office buildings there. It's I think it's right off of Lexington, I think it said. But Violence in the outer boroughs is a bit common. Like you'll see violence in the outer parts of Brooklyn, East New York, maybe far out in parts of Queens. But like violence like this in Midtown is pretty uncommon, and sad to see all shootings are bad. Like,
is that because of police presence, or is that because of the fact that it's a lot of people that are there as tourists and stuff? Or
yeah, I guess this is like more of the professional class. This is where there are a lot of good paying jobs here. There's a lot of
neighborhood.
Yeah, this is a very nice neighborhood. It's where most of the offices are in the city. I also think you're going to get a disproportionate amount of coverage of it because these are relatively common, like in the Midtown area. But I don't know, all shootings are bad, obviously. What do you think?
I mean, I did residency in New York, Bronx, Lebanon Hospital, right there in Lower Bronx, where when we got out at night, you had to practically get a hospital car to carry you because guns were flying around. So the neighborhood is important. Like in the Lower Bronx, and some parts of Brooklyn, it's really, really dangerous. But Manhattan is usually better because it's a higher neighborhood. There are people that live there, just like you said, they work better. They work, and then there's more police presence. But every time there's a shooting, it's a sad thing, and we pray for the the families of the victims, and I pray that God would comfort their hearts. But now I live in Texas, and if you showed up with a gun and you're shooting in Texas, somebody's gonna take you out before you shoot more people.
That's right. I don't know if this is such a rare thing in even Midtown over the past like 5 or 6 years. I remember New Year's Eve when Tim was there during Times Square. At Times Square, there was a shooting, I think, involved with a police officer. I have family that works on near 7th Ave, Midtown, and there was a shooting there in the daylight. And I have so many family members who work in the city, and they are way more concerned over the past 5 years how it's descended into hell than it has. These are much older people. In Manhattan, yeah. Really? These are like people in hotels in like Midtown area, and they're old enough to remember how Manhattan was in the 70s, which is an insane place. My grandfather was a cop there in the 70s. A lot of my uncles were firefighters there, and their stories were like war stories. You can look up pictures of even Midtown in the 70s, and it looks like a bombed out area, where CBGB's used to be, right? Yeah. It was not a good place in the 70s. A lot of like early tattooers that started there, all that stuff. Good for art. It was really bad to live.
It was even a little bit crazy in the 90s, which is when I first started going to CB's and shows there.
It got cleaned up. Yeah. And then it got Disneyfied, which is a whole other problem.
And then they took CBGB's apart and moved the whole thing to Vegas, I believe.
Terrible. And now it's like a John Varvatos store, but
yes,
which is just egregious. But like we've been seeing a lot of these stories out of Manhattan. The people being lit on fire in the subways, that unfortunate dead person who was accosted.
I think you always have shootings in New York City, but I think the past decade has been relatively safe compared to the past. I think there's something here about people chomping at the bit to be prepared to politicize something like this, though. We have been seeing some targeted assassinations. I'm surprised you didn't mention it. I think the most popular recent one was Luigi Mangione.
Yeah.
It's not too far from here, where he assassinated the healthcare CEO. Yep. So I don't know if people are waiting to see who this is. Maybe, I don't know, we're pontificating, as you said earlier. Yeah. Maybe it's a messed up love triangle. I don't know. I think I saw a video of him walking in. He had like a long barrel rifle, allegedly.
Well, I mean, yeah, he had it seemed like, it looked like it was like an AR-15 style rifle.
Yeah, like it.
But we've got this from the Post Millennial. We're going to go ahead and run this video here.
Cover the back! Cover the back! Back up!
Obviously, there was a massive police presence in New York anytime an officer's involved in a shooting.
What is going on
Is she
here?
in cuffs?
The person is still shooting.
I don't think those are shocks.
You think?
I don't.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah, this person,
She's bleeding from the head.
even if she's cuffed up, I mean, that this is,
bleeding from her head.
this maybe is a person of interest, but this is not. Yeah, she's cuffed up, but she's,
Is that the shooter?
no, that's not the shooter. Not the person that I saw the video or saw pictures of with a rifle.
This guy, he comes out of here with the he's from Palestine. He keeps saying free Palestine. He got his face covered up in the Palestine stuff. He walking out. The police don't pay him no mind. I said it's him.
I don't think I don't think that's accurate either.
To the ground and they got him.
I know. I've seen the picture and it's all over X. We're not going to run the picture of the alleged guy because we have no confirmation. But it's all over X, and he wasn't masked. He was dressed well. Looked like he had a jacket on.
But I didn't hear about a second suspect.
I mean,
that.
Yeah, there's reports of multiple shooters, but I have nothing solid that I can actually say.
Yeah.
So the guy that was shooting up on, it was alleged to have happened on the 33rd floor, is what I've heard, is what the reports are saying, or what I've seen.
That, yeah.
And whereas if it was on the 33rd floor, I believe it was only one guy. But again, these are early reports, and we don't have a whole lot of a lot of confirmed information on it.
It says lone shooter neutralized as of 20 minutes ago, but that's just bizarre.
And by neutralized, there's reports that it was a self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So
Part of this is just the depravity of humanity, and actually, like, you look like New York. Like I said, I lived in New York for a while. The New York that I lived in and did residency in is totally different from the New York now. And I know sometimes people get all bent out of shape about, some of our criticism on the politics, or especially of the liberals and their politics. But New York, in the days, there were times when in New York things were a little safer. Right now, beautiful Manhattan, where you could just go around and walk. Everything is getting a little tense in New York.
When were you
I
there?
think that's something. 1995 to 1998.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty. New York was nice. I mean, you could practically. I used to want to live just in Manhattan and eat out of cans until, of course, I moved to Louisiana. But New York was good at that time, And now the place has just developed into some kind of hellhole. So
The buzz in New York
politics,
is this
yes.
Mamdani guy. What do you think of him?
Who?
The Zorhan Mamdani, like the Democratic candidate for.
You really want
did
to
he
know what
send
I
social
think?
workers into this?
The guys are. You know what's funny about that guy? I don't know whether his coalition can actually like each other. Like on one side they're leftists and on the other side they're kind of jihadists. They don't like each other, so I don't know how they're gonna like get together. Because I'm sure in their rallies they're gonna want like hang each other. So I don't know. I'm just saying that. I don't know why New York would want to put somebody like that in authority and power, because they need. But that is the world we live in. I'm an immigrant, from my accent, of course. But I came to this country. I love this country, and I want to make this country great again. But when immigrants come to this country and don't want to integrate, don't love the country, I don't think they should be put in position of power, because when you are in a position to legislate, you can cause a lot of harm.
I believe he was only naturalized in 2019 too. He was only recently became a citizen.
Yes, but his ideology is kind of like totally un-American.
And I believe he's Ugandan.
He's from East Africa. Yes.
East Africa. Did I make up the Ugandan part?
I don't know what. He went
to
East
school
Africa,
in
I don't know.
Yeah, his family's from Uganda, and that's where he was to
But his
do his wedding.
ideology, social democrats are kind of like dangerous. People should know that. And,
They're-
and then on top of that, he's also a total Islamic, believes in Islamic jihad and Sharia law and all that good stuff. So I don't
that
know
bad
how
stuff?
that too. Oh, it's good for them. So that
Stuck for
let me be
Allah.
politically correct and call it good stuff.
So
between the two coalitions, I don't know how that's gonna work. But I feel sorry for New York. Move out, run.
I did.
No, I think we need to take it back over, but we don't need to get into that whole.
All right.
So the the Daily Mail is reporting that the police officer that was shot is deceased now.
Oh man.
What? Yeah, I'm looking for the actual. There's a screen cap, so I don't want to send a screen cap. I want to find the actual piece. And they are running the picture that we saw earlier. Again, we're not going to run the picture, but if you want to find the picture, just go to X. There, it's all over the place. But he is the alleged shooter is dead. And and I believe that the police officer has died as well. But again, I haven't been able to confirm that yet. So I do. Was that? Oh, sorry. I do think that there are people that are saying, there are more reports now that he was saying free Palestine, and I don't know. Obviously, we don't have confirmation of anything, and I haven't seen it myself, so I don't want to say that. But is it your sense that these kind of left-leaning, or it's my sense that there is more left-leaning violence happening now, whether it be the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, the Luigi Mangione guy. There was another one that was the two people that were killed in D.C. Outside of the Jewish History Museum.
Sorry, did you say the Vance Bolter guy? I don't know. I missed it. The guy in Minneapolis who shot the assassinations that just happened a few weeks ago.
I don't know if that was actually left leaning or not. I don't know. I don't know the
He's a shady figure. It's true.
So I don't know what the political motivations are. I'm only talking about the things that I'm sure of, or that I've heard. But it's my sense that as much as the media wants to say that it's not ever the left and the left is only peaceful and they're et cetera, et cetera, it's my sense that things are getting extremely volatile on the left. They're at a loss for how to organize now, because they had done so much to try to prevent Trump from being elected, and they've done so much to try to push against the right. And nowadays, I really do think that the right is ascendant, because people are really tired of the left. People are tired of the cancellations. People were tired of the woke stuff. People are tired of the LGBTQ lobby trying to assert that you're a bigot for not, validating whatever it is that they say. Is that something that you guys share? I mean, I assume you do, but I'd like your thoughts.
I think the left, their preferred language is violence, and we've seen it all throughout. Lockdowns is a great example, and the George Floyd riots and the Summer of Love. They use violence. I'm sure you heard violent rhetoric towards you for just speaking out about what you spoke out about during lockdowns. We hear it here. Unfortunately, went through all the crazy swattings and stuff for years. That's how they get their policies moved, is through through force.
I think the leadership of the left actually are the enemy of humanity. They don't like the left or the right. And they use kind of like almost like a mind control thing to control their constituents or the people that follow them. You see, a typical right-wing person or a typical Republican has other things in their lives, like family, home, jobs, and everything. But the typical leftist gets so bent out of shape over their political position that they are willing to practically fight and kill each other and cancel family members because, like I said, So at the end of the day, it becomes a matter of you have to get back to family. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're in a position that you don't believe family is important, you don't believe marriage is important, you don't believe job is important, then you don't have that much in your life that is important. So at the end of the day, if somebody comes with a political ideology, you're going to jump on the bandwagon. The crazy part about it is that the left supports a lot of things. Like when you see things like gays for Palestine, or it's crazy because they will throw you off the rooftop. So people are like, no, I want. So they are supporting things that they don't have clear ideas about, clear ideologies about. So a lot of people are not educated enough about what they are supporting. And of course, I just believe that they want that kind of mindless following, because a mindless following person can easily become a militant.
So a couple more things about this story, and we're going to move on. First of all, CNN is reporting that the police officer was shot in the back, and he has passed away. And they're reporting that the shooters also passed away from self-inflicted gun wounds. So
there are 3 people shot. 2 civilians, 1 NYPD.
2 civilians shot?
Yeah, 2 civilians, 1 NYPD was the person that is
okay.
That's the number of people shot.
And then we've got this from Dan Bongino. FBI New York field office management personnel and agents are responding to provide support at the active crime scene in Manhattan. So the FBI is looking into it. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is actually something that the FBI will have jurisdiction over, but if they're going to support, or it does make sense that they would be supporting the NYPD in any kind of investigation that they're doing. So we're going to go ahead and move on to this next story from the Post-Millennial. Federal Judge Talwani blocks Trump Congress from cutting Medicaid funds to Planned Parenthood. A federal judge in Massachusetts, shocker, has granted an emergency motion for a preliminary injunction barring the Trump administration from cutting federal Medicare funds from Planned Parenthood as the case plays out. U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts Judge Indira Talwani wrote in the 58-page ruling, patients are likely to suffer adverse health consequences where care is disrupted or unavailable. In particular, restricting members' ability to provide health care services threatens an increase in unintended pregnancies and attendant complications because of reduced access to effective contraceptions and an increase in undiagnosed and untreated STIs. The provision to halt Medicare funding goes to Planned Parenthood was part of the big, beautiful bill that Congress passed and Trump signed into law on July 4th. Talwani had initially blocked the provision for 14 days earlier in July. This makes absolutely no sense to me at all. When you have Congress that passes a bill, both houses of Congress sign off on it, they send it to the president, and they say, here you go. There is no reason,
No jurisdiction.
no constitutional justification for blocking this at all. And furthermore, the Supreme Court has already said that these judges don't have the authority to do nationwide injunctions. And I assume that because it's, for the whole big, beautiful bill, this doesn't just apply to Massachusetts. I believe that she thinks that this injunction is supposed to apply to the whole U.S. It's my opinion that the federal government should just ignore these judges because the Supreme Court has found, the whole federal government, the Congress, the president, and the Supreme Court say this is okay. And now federal district judges are just popping in and saying, oh, we can still have these nationwide injunctions. I mean, this seems ridiculous to me. Does it? Am I off base here?
No.
I think a lot happened during the Biden era where they had a lot of, militant judges that felt that they could there was a lot of lawlessness. And here's the issue. When you have had a time of lawlessness, when you come back to law and order, everybody gets really crazy about it because they've already gotten used to the lawlessness, So it's part of the lawlessness of the Obama-Biden administration, especially the Biden administration, that has allowed some of these judges to think they can do whatever they want to do.
I think that's a great point because you see it not only with the judges like this, but you also see it in the reaction to
immigration. Yes.
Exactly, ICE enforcing existing immigration law. The idea that ICE enforcing laws that were passed by Congress and okayed, ICE enforcing those laws is somehow tyranny when your representatives have voted on these laws and they've gone through the normal means to pass legislation and enact laws. And ICE says, okay, we're going to enforce the law and we're going to rely on the supremacy of the federal government. So that way state and local police forces don't have the authority to say, no, we can't do this. I think that this kind of stuff needs the federal government to actually come down hard on not just, illegal immigrants or something, but come down on any municipal or state enforcement agencies that inhibit the execution of these laws.
The judge is going against the will of the people. Before we went live, Serge, we were joking how government is a religion for some. And when you go against their religion, this is part of their religion. Planned Parenthood, human sacrifice, abortion is part of their religion.
Yes.
Like this is what they will fight for. Wow, that was a loud pop.
Jesus Christ.
Too soon, Phil. Sorry.
Just a water. Listen, it's just a water, guys. Relax.
Everyone jump. My goodness.
It's just a water.
But
we're not doing desk pops here.
I know, right?
This is the kind of thing they would, they did the whole Kavanaugh thing over for abortion.
Yes.
This is part of their religion because they're psychotic Satanists, in my opinion. But I think that's pretty clear because this is what they will defy a president and the people to continue something like this.
So I think so there's two parts here. There's the Trump fighting back against these rogue judges with these constant injunctions against a lot of his different agenda items. But the agenda item here is what I think is particularly interesting because if you're a pro-life person, you've been getting the short end of the stick this entire administration. Trump seems to have abandoned the pro-life position because it's generally unpopular with the general public writ large. And he's actually defended many Biden-era pro pro-choice agenda items. So, for example, they defended federal regulations allowing abortion pills to be available online and by mail. This actually happened during COVID. They allowed for these pills mifepristone to be prescribed online and able to be mailed to you directly. This is responsible for something like 2/3 of abortions. So if you're, and Trump never talks to this issue. So I think that's an interesting tidbit here.
Yeah, Trump softened his stance on abortion leading up to this.
He's probably the most pro-choice
yeah.
Republican president that we've had. And, pro-life groups there was a little bit of rumblings while he was running, but he kept them in check. And now any, pro-life senators or congressmen, nobody's stepping to Trump about anything. And he's able to keep a coalition. This issue is, I think, kind of being pushed by the wayside.
I think
You're talking about pro-life?
The abortion position. Yes.
Yeah, when
That's
it
a
comes to like abortion or like Planned Parenthood and abortion, I don't believe that the federal government should take our tax dollars and support abortion, because if I'm pro-life and you using my tax dollars to support abortion, basically all of us are committing abortion, and that puts us in a position where we're going against our fundamental Christian beliefs. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one. The second thing is, if you want to commit sin, do it, but don't do it on my watch or on my dollar. So I don't think that Planned Parenthood should do that. And there are a lot of leftist groups that have a whole lot of money. They could fund Planned Parenthood. There's no reason for them to jump at the federal dollars. So if they're gonna use federal money, our tax dollars, to fund Planned Parenthood, that is gonna commit abortions. They are basically making sure that every single American is committing abortion by paying for it. And to me, abortion is more like worship. It's child sacrifice, and I don't believe in it. So I wouldn't want my dollars to pay for it.
You're pro-choice, but against your tax dollars being used for it. As a physician,
I am pro-life, but I would not want my tax dollars to be used for abortion, because that will mean I support it. That will mean I'm paying for it. Even
do you want the law to say that people should have access to abortion?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying that if they want to make laws to have access to whatever, evil laws or whatever, I don't, as long as I'm not paying for it, I don't agree with those laws. But I might not, I don't have a choice to tell them what to do, but I don't want it to be legislated that I should pay for it. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't believe Planned Parenthood, should be given federal money. I don't believe anything that commits abortion should be given federal money, because they are basically making every American that believes in pro-life to be paying for abortion.
I mean, this is a great argument against federally funding anything, honestly. If you are paying taxes and the government is doing something, whether it be foreign aid, money to Israel, money to other countries, Social Security, etc., all of these things. Pardon me?
Trans frogs.
Trans frogs.
Trans
surgery.
Any kind of scientific studies or anything like that. If the people that are paying taxes find that objectionable, then they're forced to fund it.
I think
Democrats call all this stuff health care. They call access to abortion health care. They call trans surgery health care. And there's I think a bit of a spectrum, but how you'd call a lot of this stuff. So
we don't talk about, when they talk about abortion, we're not talking, sometimes Democrats make it sound as if a woman has like a miscarriage or a woman's life is in danger, they're going to force that woman to die so that they can carry that baby. That is not true. I'm a physician. You understand? So if I'm in the emergency room, I worked ER for years. If I'm in the emergency room and a woman comes in and their life is in danger, I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, you must carry this baby and die. So that is not, I don't think any doctor or that is legislated in any way. So that is kind of like a lie in the whole thing. But everybody just wants to be able to rip a baby out. If you don't want to have a baby, then take some kind of precaution or don't have sex.
Yeah. There's an addendum to what we're talking about. The Health and Human Services spokesperson, Andrew Nixon, told The Hill following the ruling, "We strongly disagree with the court's decision. States should not be forced to fund organizations that have chosen political advocacy over patient care. This ruling undermines state flexibility and disregards longstanding concerns about accountability." This is, to both of your points, the idea that this is health care is it's a ruse. It's a misuse of terminology, because it's not health care, it's pregnancy prevention, right? the methods of contraception that are available are numerous. There are multiple ways that people can avoid pregnancy, whether it be birth control pills, whether it be contraceptives like condoms or any of the other types of contraceptives. So the idea that this is healthcare is something that the left uses to try to browbeat the conservative opinion. It's just like saying pro-choice when really you're pro-abortion. Mm-hmm. And there was a time where there was recently a time where the left had started actually coming out and saying that they were pro-abortion, and Michelle Wolf had that "shout your abortion" monologue she did or whatever, and I couldn't help but feel like this is just ghoulish. This is celebrating death, right? Like whether or not you're pro-abortion or whether you're pro-life or not. It should have been, and the argument that was made by Democrats back in the 90s and aughts was safe, legal, and rare. The point that they wanted people to believe was this doesn't happen often, and we want it to be safe for people, because if we don't do this, it's going to be coat hangers in alleyways, and that's the story that was told, which was always BS. But
it always starts that way, yeah.
But yeah, so the way that the left uses words to actually obfuscate what they're actually doing is something that I think the right should address more and point at and make people use clear words to articulate the ideas or what's actually happening, as opposed to allowing the left to just cover it over it.
They get away with their brutalism because they soften the language, because they've effectively killed language. You know, what is a boy, what is a girl, all these things, marriage, everything's been destroyed. And it's part of the cultural revolution we were talking about, I think, last week, right? How it went down in China is what's going on here. And I think no matter how modern we get in society, we are still as barbaric as we've been for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And this, like, child sacrifice is what's been going on. I mean, you can see it in the Bible, but you can see it all over different cultures forever. And now these people are complicit in what I think is a sacrifice, and it's disgusting. And I would like to see it stop. I'm not pro-life. I'm anti-human sacrifice.
Look, if you think being pro-choice is being pro-human sacrifice, that's like two-thirds of the country.
Yeah.
You think we're a country full of people who believe in child sacrifice?
I do, yeah.
I think,
I don't think it's a laughing matter.
And I also think that it is because of the way it's packaged. It is packaged to not really be as gruesome as they really want it to be. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the history of Planned Parenthood, the founder, Margaret Sanger, she was a eugenist. You understand? So that's one. And then actually she was also a racist. And most of the time, Planned Parenthood, you rarely see it in the nice, beautiful suburbs. They are usually located like in the, black and brown neighborhoods for people that they want, So Planned Parenthood, you rarely see it in a beautiful, nice suburb, So Margaret Sanger was a eugenist. Margaret Sanger was a racist and really believed that, black children and brown children should be killed. So they've taken that, and in fact, there's an article that said that, Planned Parenthood has tried to distance itself from actually the whole, the belief of its founder. But you cannot do that, because that is the work of the founder. And sometimes it actually got so bad during the Biden years that some doctors, I remember I was sitting in Pennsylvania, one of the legislatures in Pennsylvania, they were actually talking about just being able, if you give birth to a child, all the way to
Virginia.
In Virginia, all the way to the last day of birth, you can give birth to the child and then have a conversation with the mom whether they should kill the child or not. So it was getting really crazy.
So you guys?
Well, I mean, I'm to your point, that video, I think, actually made a lot of people aware of what was happening, because the left had forever said, no, we would never do that. You don't. Nobody ever gets an abortion in the 9th month. Nobody ever gets an abortion, et cetera, et cetera. And then to hear, what was his name?
Ralph Northam.
Yeah, Ralph Northam actually articulate what happened was really, shocking.
It's grotesque. We'll keep them comfortable.
Exactly.
And there's also on video and testimony before Congress of the atrocities that they've done with the babies from Planned Parenthood in places like Pennsylvania universities, in their labs there. Heinous, like crazy stuff.
And also there's I don't know the particulars of the story, but there was the idea that they were selling body parts of aborted fetuses and stuff. Elaad, you were about to interject a moment ago.
Yeah, so I mean, Do you guys feel abandoned by the Trump administration? The administration recently defended a case in Texas where they defended the use of mailing mifepristone, which is the #1 drug, like responsible for 2/3 of abortions. Do you guys feel abandoned?
I was upset the second he came out with a much softer stance on abortion when he started 2024 campaign. I thought that was lame, So, and I called it out then, Of course, I like a lot of things and I'll champion some of this stuff, but this one's pretty important, if not one of the most important
baby
things.
sacrifice, according to you.
It legit is baby sacrifice. Like,
I
without
don't
a
feel
doubt.
abandoned because I don't think Trump is God. I suspect Trump is human and will make mistakes. So if I were to look at the difference between Trump and the other, I might like maybe 75%. So if you get 75%, you should be thankful because no leader is God. They are human and they're going to have their weaknesses. And because I don't expect him to be God, I don't get like crazy disappointed. But if, of course, he's doing something that I don't agree with, I will call it out. I will disagree with it. And I think that is actually the position of most people in the right. We don't look at, I know there are a few like Trump people that are totally think that he's going to usher in the golden age, but most people, most right-wing people, we just want the government to leave us alone. We want to get as least government as possible, so we make choices that will bring that to our families. And one of the biggest difference is actually sometimes the person on the top of the ticket can be a little off, but there is something also about what the ticket stands for. Like if you look at the Republican ticket, what do they stand for? And some of those things, you can pick that to decide who to support. And I would say lastly that personal sins, sometimes people tend to look at Trump and like, well, he did this and he did that. Personal sins his personal sin is between him and God. But legislated sin affects the whole nation. It is legislated sin that would make people, the rest of the world, suffer from something they don't want to do. Like if they legislate right now that as every doctor you should be able to commit an abortion, then it affects your personal rights. Personal sins don't. It's legislated sin, or things that are put and codified into the law that you can't say anything. Remember in the days of Obama, it got so crazy. You could not bake, if you didn't bake a cake for a gay person, you were attacked. So some of those things. So we want freedom to be able to practice religion, love God, love our families, and do what we want to do. And to some extent, give everybody else grace to do what they want to do.
I think the coalitional politics of this is part of what's so fascinating because some of the most ardent Trump supporters are religious Christians whose top issue by far is the pro-life issue. That's their number 1, 2, and 3 issue. I know a lot of those voters exist. So to see him kind of make this back of the bench issue, it's fascinating to see where this will go moving forward because also Democrats are even more pro-choice. So I don't know where it leaves them. So I just think that's something to keep an eye on.
I just see the right moving to the left slowly but surely. All the major Republicans in quotes right now were 90s liberals. Kennedy, Tulsi was a liberal 2 days ago, and I like her, but she was just a liberal. Trump was a liberal in the 90s.
RFK Jr.
Kennedy,
Exactly.
RFK,
And I appreciate what they're doing, and I want them to be that wrecking ball.
A lot of the people
Vance
here.
was a never Trumper not too long ago.
I mean, a lot of the people here were liberals. Tim himself.
Oh,
Well, no, I mean, it's like people that are here at Timcast.
He's like, don't include me in that.
I'm not trying to impugn your honor. I mean, people would say that there was a time where I was a liberal. I don't know if that's actually true. I've always been pretty right-leaning, but I have had some liberal kind of ideologies. Serge and a lot of other people that came from the.
But what's funny is when I considered myself a liberal, I believed in free speech.
Yes,
I still wasn't for abortion. When I was a liberal, was still in my head the whole safe, legal, and rare thing. But now it's like I'm so against it. But I was ignorant then, and there's a lot of things that really haven't changed when it comes to liberty that I thought the left believed in.
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly. That's the thing. It's like the first thing that I saw when I was like, wait a minute, this is not right, was when the left started to, or the Democrats started to think that things like free speech were quaint,
yes,
and outdated. Oh, isn't that cute? And I saw this. It was 20 years ago now when I first started to kind of smell the what was coming. I was like, this seems off. These ideas that that are what make America what America is, people were starting to say, well, that's, ha ha ha, and they were looking at it as if it was something that was an option as opposed to foundational.
Can't we just move on from free speech?
Sure.
Because it's hate speech.
Yeah.
All speech is hate speech, and actually
that
silence
didn't
is also violence.
That didn't come until later, but yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that in 2020 when I stood up and spoke. Man, I was beat up so bad. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was censored.
That's how you know you're doing
everywhere.
something right in a fallen society, in a fallen world.
I was censored. I was cussed out. I was called names and ridiculed. It was whoa. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the fact that people stopped saying that it was, you shouldn't say that, and started to really attack people with a lot of vitriol. That was really shocking. There's a little bit of an update on the shooter in New York City. I think that his ID has been released. Can you pull that up? Just because I don't want to go by a tweet that someone has sent me, but just because you never can tell.
Are tweets ever wrong?
Well,
Never.
I think Twitter's making you dumber. The more time you spend on Twitter, it'll make you a dumber
I think it made me smarter. I don't know.
I think that might make you think you're getting smarter, but
Practically, social media makes you dumber.
much dumber.
It's a disease.
It sucks IQ points out of you.
Let's see. You think that
Don't talk about cat turd that way a lot.
Cat Turd's had a hard time recently.
We can probably show that now.
What was that?
We can show that
Yeah.
first
That
image
picture?
right there now.
Okay,
because
yeah.
This is what we saw previously.
Yeah, this is a picture of the shooter. Oh, not that.
Just scroll down, you can see it.
Our fire and safety director for the building immediately came on and said to shelter in place. Our elevators were locked, which made us feel safe because no one could
Well,
get
this
up.
is kind of
At that
rehashing. It's
time,
going to
we
be their
didn't know
own
what
coverage
was
on it, so I don't really want to show this. But
Okay.
this image right here was what was shown earlier. It shows how brazen this dude was probably walking directly in. Again, we don't know what kind of you can see what it is. It does look like there's like a suppressor on there.
I think that's actually. I don't know if we can get a closer.
Yeah, we can-
breaking
this is-
news out of New York
we
City.
Should, we should
ABC
pause
News.
this one. I want to pull it up on X because there's we'll just keep going with the show until I can find a picture.
Yeah. So I don't think that he actually had a can. I think that it was actually the sling that he had on there. But anyways,
That's a crazy image, though. Just casually walking
through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just shooting people.
Horrible. It's horrible.
It's pretty
We
awful.
just had that stabbing incident. Where did that happen?
at
Was that
a Walmart,
right? 11 people stabbed. I mean, unfortunately it's nothing unique. It's just like you were saying earlier. It's a human condition.
Yeah, it's a human condition, and a country that has turned away from family, religion, and good.
They've embraced nihilism.
So we can bring that up. The shooter's name is Shane D. Tamura, and he's got a Las Vegas concealed firearms permit. And so he probably had the gun legally. Considering he was from Vegas, it is possible that that was a can on there to be a silencer for people unaware of the lingo. So because that kind of accessory is legal in Nevada, it's not legal to own a suppressor in New York City or in New York State or Jersey or Massachusetts. I don't think they're legal they might be legal in Connecticut, but the point that I'm making is the surrounding states.
Right.
The only one that they're legal is Pennsylvania. So, that's a. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Yeah.
It's been confirmed by New York Post as well. So we had this earlier because everyone had this image, but I think now it's official. I see what you're talking about at the end there, Phil. You can't tell if that's part of his strap hanging.
Yeah.
It's like background. Maybe it's both, but it looks like it's just both. It looks like it's probably just both things.
I mean,
He's got no ear pro on or anything like that. And he's walking inside a building. He does seem like he knows what he's doing.
Yep.
If he was walking with a suppressor in that kind of room, it would just blow your ears out. So.
Yeah, I mean, even to be honest with you, shooting what looks like a short barrel rifle. It doesn't look. I don't know for sure, but it looks like it doesn't look like it's a 16-inch. So it's probably a little bit shorter than or it's probably a short barrel rifle. And if you shoot a short barrel rifle inside of a building without a can, it's going to blow your eardrums out.
The other upsetting thing
Incredibly
outside
loud.
of the violence is the short-term memory of the people. Like, we don't talk about the Vance Bolter thing nearly as much as assassinations that happened in Minneapolis, the embassy shootings, Luigi Mangione. This has been going on. There's been so many shootings, crazy assassinations. I mean, we hardly talk about Butler. We don't even really have any answers on it. Trump said he's satisfied with what the briefings were, but I don't feel like the public is, because it doesn't make much sense what happened in Butler. It's been nonstop violence, and the Idaho shooting the first responders, and that's all just in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
I think mental health too has become an issue, and when it comes to, and mental health is also affected by the society. It's affected by people going on. When people stop when I get back to family, religion, and people not interacting with each other, and a lot of people don't have friends anymore. All they have is their phone and social media, and then they can easily people become bullies very easily just hanging out on social media. And some of the stuff just that has happened in our society, the breakdown of society, where people are not actually just having family and having cookouts, and many people are just lonely and suffering, and there's a lot of mental health going on. And when that happens, people are going to flip and do something crazy. And now, in those days, we went to church, but these days, that is rarer. So people are going to flip and do something. That's part of the depravity of our society. And I don't know how we're going to survive this in the long run.
I'm hearing that dudes can't get laid anymore. That's one of the big issues.
That too is serious. And
Elaad's projecting.
No, definitely not. I don't know how other men struggle with it, frankly.
I heard New York City is terrible.
no, but
They don't have that mustache. That's
I
why.
don't know what it is. If a guy like me
you
could
think
do
maybe
it.
it's Me Too movement?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was already washed up. I think they're
No.
rehabilitating all of the people.
Oh, Me Too was great till they accused
Candace
Biden.
had Harvey on not too long ago. I feel like
Who had Harvey on?
Candace Owens had
Okay.
Harvey Weinstein on to say that, I don't know, maybe he wasn't that bad. Allegedly. I don't. So
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
watch
he
Candace,
like he was just a
But
fall guy.
well, I mean,
Or he thought everybody was doing it. They
If
were
you
all
listen-
coming for it.
if you listen to the things that Harvey Weinstein is alleged to have said, he just sounded pathetic. Like he did. It was just the whole like it was just like, can I have just a crumb? Can I have, look at me? And, just like, it was just the most pathetic, repulsive stuff. Like the guy's ugly. And then his method of getting women to actually have
get
sex
you on
with
the
him was just-
movies, hun. Right? That's
a lot. I wonder if it's the cities that are so bad for dating. Because I'm out here in the country, in the church I go to, it's like people, first of all, aren't really, I'm sure they are, but I'm seeing a lot of younger kids who are getting married young, right? And it's not like the dating scene where I hear about people who are my age in New York City still dating on different apps and having a hard time. So I think it's a city issue versus country issue.
I think it might be, I think it might be skewed towards younger men too, who struggle differently.
Well, I think
But
that
the numbers game is good in New York City. Frankly, that's what you should
Right.
want. You should want endless
there's
opportunity.
There's a couple things going on with younger men. First of all, younger men are young people, Gen Z. They're not taught to be resilient the way that older generations were, with the idea of the snowplow parents. It used to be helicopter parents that were like watching over you all the time. Well, the snowplow parents just went in front of you and made every single thing that you would have to do to learn to be resilient. They made it all go away, so that everything was as easy as possible. Nothing ever challenged the kids, and they didn't tell their kids no. Their upbringing was as easy and stress-free as possible. But what that produces is a generation of people that cannot deal with being rejected or deal with hardship. And when you can't deal with that, the option is the option that young men are taking, is to opt out of trying. There's tons of porn on the internet. There's video games. There's every distraction you can imagine. Why would you go and try to talk to a girl and risk it when it's much easier to just turn on the Xbox or jump on Pornhub, and get your satisfaction that way, and then go about your day and
Now you can
do
have a
something
robot.
fun.
Oh yeah,
Well, that'll
I was
be
gonna
coming.
Say that's prepping. They are prepping humanity to get into the robot thing, which is actually evil. It's not just a robot thing. I know he's looking at me like, what? Yeah, it is.
No, I mean,
No, he's very skeptical of AI. So
So they are prepping
it's
people.
wow.
They are prepping people to not connect with each other, but connect with your own Optimus. And that is the beginning of the end of
You
humanity.
don't think it's nice to have a robot babysitter for your children?
Really? Should I quote a scripture for you?
You should have a robot to do the dishes and carry the groceries in while you watch your kid and spend time with your kid.
I don't even
robots in
think
the
you
house.
Have any robots in the house?
I am
because-
with Dr.
What about a
Emmanuel.
Roomba?
Shoot it.
Yeah, my God. You know, there's a scripture. There's a scripture in the book of Revelation,
it.
chapter 13,
Yep.
that says that they will deceive humanity to make images unto the beast, and the devil will have the power to give breath to these images, that they'll be able to speak, which is the robots and the clones and whatever. But these robots that we're bringing into our houses, they are going to be the power that will fight against humanity and enforce the beast system. So basically, bring in your own robot butler and let your fridge talk to you, and your Tesla and whatever. So, but the day they decide that you're not going to go a mile away from your house, they'll lock you down in your car and you can't do anything about it. So, I would say that be very, question bringing in so much technology and a lot of this AI stuff, because they say AI is not a tool, it's an agent. Says Yuval Harari Noah. It's an agent. It's an agent of control. It's going to be an independent agent, and I'm not, this is not my opinion. This is Yuval Noah says it, Elon Musk, they all say it. These are like agents that are going to take over the world, and they want to bring us to a point of singularity. That's a whole other thing.
I think that they're great at marketing. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's deception.
As far as like Musk goes, and I mean,
It's a
you've all know
deception.
Harari books read like fiction. But yeah,
But you've
I
all
think they do this.
people love quoting him in the WEF stuff.
I agree. I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little.
Books. What was it? Homo sapiens.
Homo sapien.
Yes.
That he wrote, and
Homo Deus. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's
Guy
a little bit
says
of
the most
both.
crazy
if a computer can learn to play chess better than the most accomplished chess grandmaster ever, why can't a computer learn to do the dishes?
If a calculator could do math that the best mathematician can't do, then does that mean the end of the world and there will be no more jobs because we have calculators?
Now you're so
Oh,
now
well, that's the analogy.
No, you're making
Actually-
a straw man of my. I just like can you like why is it? Why do you think that a computer can learn to do math or play chess, but a computer can't learn to do dishes?
I mean, I think it could do. I mean, we have dishwashers,
Oh, yeah, I
so
was
there we
gonna
go.
say
We
that.
already have machines that do
but
dishes. I don't think
you keep changing the point. I'm talking about actually do dishes, like do the dishes, wash the dishes, and take them and put them away. If you can
What's
teach a
robot
computer
tech? I
to
don't even
do
think that's particularly like AI, which I'm not a super believer.
Well, it would
if
take
anything.
localized AI for these things to do those tasks.
I don't think you need AI to make your robot do dishes. I think when we talk about AI, people are talking about this, thing that is able to respond to you like a person would, that has its own ideas, is able to manifest its own creation and actually create things that are unique to humanity that humanity hasn't spewed out already. But that's what I think is the marketing part, because I don't think it could actually do that. I think it's a fancy next word predictor. It's a fancy Google Reddit searcher that spews out, pretty much BS or made up stuff. And maybe it could get to the point where it does crazy stuff, but for now, I think people are just marketing it as such to line their pockets, because these people are heavily invested in companies that advertise themselves as AI companies, right? So if people believe that this technology could do that stuff, then they'd get rich based off the hype.
I actually think it's actually gonna get to. Do you know what the meaning of singularity?
When the technology is able to...
when hive mind, or get to a place where everybody's gonna be connected to the hive.
I know you've all know Harari likes to drop those buzzwords in his books.
No, it's not just buzzwords. They have.
That's where Kurzweil.
Dr. Emmanuel, you're a physician, right? You're a doctor.
But I'm also a minister of the gospel. So
Okay.
I speak from both ends.
The point that I'm making is you've heard about the advances in AI technology when it comes to like finding cancer and breast cancer and stuff, right? What's your take on that?
My question is that if you're gonna produce. Can I say this on YouTube? Well, let's just put it this way. If you're going to produce a technology that is going to cause cancer, then all of a sudden you produce the same technology to cure cancer?
Well, no, I'm not talking about curing it. I'm just talking about identifying it.
I'm just saying. So there are a lot of things that I partly agree with what you're saying. There are a lot of things that it's marketing, but not for the reason that you're saying it. A lot of things that they're marketing about AI, about the technology, about RNA technology and everything. It's just a deception. It's a Trojan horse. And the reason why it's a deception is because, yes, they are making money, but I think it's a deeper thing than making money. I can go back into the Bible in Genesis 6, where the sons of God came and mated with the daughters of men, and they produced hybrids.
Nephilim.
In our generation, it's done by
Those are
technology.
giants.
It's done by technology. They're no longer sons of God coming to mate with humans. They just really want human beings to merge with machine. Elon says it, that they want humans to merge with machine. And they're going to put a neural link in your brain. It's going to connect your limbic system. Your limbic system is actually your emotions.
Yep.
And your cortex is your thinking. But what is your emotions and your thinking? It's your soul, which is your humanity. So if it's not the same like putting a pacemaker in your heart, which is just a machine. They're actually putting something that will affect your limbic system and your cortex. That is something that's going to affect your soul and your humanity. And the bottom line is that if they can take over the soul and your humanity and your thinking, then they can bring us into what they call singularity. And it's not going to happen because God is going to destroy it.
Good thing for us, Elon Musk always overpromises and never delivers. So you shouldn't expect much of this Neuralink
Now,
stuff.
actually, I don't think when he says Neuralink is going to be for treatment of disease, I don't think so. Neuralink is actually really just for human-machine symbiosis. The promises of the deaf will hear, the blind will see, the lame would walk. It's foolishness. It's not going to happen. It's not going to do that.
I know I've done a lot of Elon slander, but he has done a lot of good work with Starlink and his rockets.
I was just going to say,
you can't touch on everything.
Do you think that
He has all the technology.
I was going to say, do you really think that he actually does overpromise and underdeliver when you take into account how successful Tesla has been, how successful the Falcon 9 has been, how the fact that he is literally
become?
The fact that he has literally created the privatization of space.
How much, Phil? How much did he promise to wipe out of our debt through Doge?
Do you think?
Wait, please. No, I want to harp on this point. So remember how much he promised to remove from our strategic
So this is
debt. And
this is okay. Let me reply.
Yes.
It is a fair criticism to say that he overpromised with Doge, but you also have to take into account he was dealing with the federal government and he was dealing with Congress on both houses of Congress, which have no incentive to actually cut things.
So two things could be true at once. Again, and that's why I was trying to say he does have many successful businesses. But if we could actually please pull the number up, do you guys want me to Google it with how much he promised to cut from the debt?
So I literally just we said we gave you that I gave you that point in the argument. I understand that, but again, he was not the only guy in control of that, or it wasn't actually up to him. These things have to be passed by Congress.
He promised,
but I don't think Doge had anything to do with cutting money from the government.
Agreed.
Can I say that?
Yes. Wait, Dr. Emmanuel's got a good point here.
I don't think Doge had anything to do with cutting money for the government or saving us any dollar.
Well, that's what his promise was.
No, Doge was really just about Elon putting his hand into the federal government so that they can get the federal government
so
into
when
AI.
He said that he would cut
that is a deception.
Okay, so there we go.
It's a deception. Doge had, I don't think he had anything.
It is.
It was a deception. Right now, Elon and his guys have a hand on everything that we know between Palantir and Elon. They have all of our data, and it had nothing to do with trying to cut it.
That's why shout out to Scott Benton gave him the 1-2 allegedly.
It's a deception. Elon practical. I think one of the biggest things that broke them up is because Elon wanted them to mandate self-driving cars, because that is all part of it. They want all of us to be sitting in a self-driving car and watch. Very soon, they're going to be like, if you don't have a self-driving car, your insurance is going to be like $5,000 because, you're a menace to society, because how can you not have a self-driving car? And, so they are actually moving humanity to a place of totalitarian control and singularity, for real.
And I think the tech sector won out so much over Maha because the stuff you were talking about with the new 24-hour, 48-hour privatized, personalized vaccines they're going to make goes against everything Maha stood for. And like you said, they went in to scrape everyone's data. Yeah. Those 5 questions they were sent on what you did this week, they didn't hire new people to read those. That was Grok reading it, right? Yep. Grok just got a new job. The day after Mecha Hitler, he got hired or a few weeks after Mecha Hitler, he got hired by the government. XAI is now the government. Yeah, Saudi Arabia is going fully AI. That is the direction they want to go.
They asked Elon that all this information he's getting from Grok and using it, how about the people that produce all this data, are they going to sue him? He said that before any of those lawsuits can actually become anything major, we'll have digital gods. You guys don't even have a clue what Elon has the technology to put into place all this nonsense that he's talking about. So he has the self-driving cars. He has the low satellite orbit. He has what do you call it? He has Starlink.
Yeah.
He has the robots.
All
that
of
dude
this-
is putting together some serious
So
stuff.
I understand the apprehension about having this kind of technology, having access to this kind of technology. But I mean, all of your information, and I'm not talking about you personally, but all of our information, like everybody's information is already owned by Google. Without question, where you go, that's something that, whether I don't know for sure, Musk has the ability to do that. Obviously, they can track you with your Tesla car, but everybody's already made the decision that they like giving Google all of their information because they all have a smartphone. Even you, who is like, you know, the closest to a Luddite sitting here, you're still allowing Google to
just
track,
a window. It's just glass. There's nothing
track
inside of it.
you everywhere you go.
I know. Well, because and that's why I always say Lockheed Martin, no matter where you go, has spy satellites heat mapping the entire Earth. You really can't escape it. My problem is this is leading to the social credit system that China's already got, and all these things coming together. Yes, they already have our information,
but that already exists because they've already debanked people.
I don't think to the extent we understand is going to happen. Like they're going to prevent you from going. I mean, they already have people who can't bank.
They've already done that. All of the stuff that you're talking about is already possible
in
without
pockets.
advances of technology.
In pockets, but I'm thinking it's going to be accepted widespread.
But it's going to come a time when you're going to either be part of the hive or you're going to be excluded from society. Of course, you listen to Yuval Noah, you listen to all the World Economic Forum stuff and everything, you know, Peter Thiel and all these people and what they're saying. But if you look at it, we started with a influence. Social media, the first this thing was all about influence. So we all got into it, and right now they have the influence over everybody through social media and everything. Then it comes to dependence on technology, and right now they've already passed the stage of dependence on technology. We're all dependent on technology right now. And the next, what they are putting right now is submission, where you're going to submit to whatever it is that they say, and obedience. So it's coming. Just watch.
My argument isn't that it's coming.
It's already here.
Exactly.
Integration is coming, where they're going to integrate you with this stuff.
My argument is that it's already here, and we've already made the decision that we are going to accept it.
I agree with you on that. I just think it's going to get worse. And when you see the way the facial recognition stuff's growing with Clearview AI, and you see things at war with AI Lavender.
Facial recognition stuff is already.
But you look at Face Plus Plus and Clearview AI. What they're doing is. This is beyond, right? Yes, we have it, but I think we're going to get into a time when they will lock you in your house. Like they will completely exclude you.
You're already there.
Yes.
Yeah, but I know there's certain people who might have that, but it's going to be widespread.
It's going to be widespread. Like I travel
and immediate.
All over if it used to be like in Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, you go to those places and you'll be like, well, how are you going to lock down the whole world? People use cash. But in the past 5 years, they've practically ruined major economies so that we can have a cashless society all over the world.
What do you mean when it's already happening to people in terms of being locked in their house? Like, what examples are you looking at?
Well, they did that in China, is what I'm saying.
I'm saying here. I'm talking about America.
COVID.
Well, I mean, of course, China.
They did it during COVID. They did it in Canada. The police came to people's houses.
Right, but that was still like a soft tyranny outsourced to neighbors. Like it was real tyranny, but it wasn't like put in place by drones, and a network of technology. Of course, maybe people were banned off Facebook or something, but it wasn't like enforced by what I think will be the dystopian future, like the drones, like facial recognition. You could leave your house, but people were so scared. They bought into the illusion of COVID and everything.
Do you think that there's ever going to be a time where people won't be scared?
No. People are always hysterical.
But they will make you. So you see, the Bible says in Revelation 13, 16 to 18 that there will come a time when you're not going to be able to buy or sell except you have a mark on your hand or in your head, which the head one is probably the Neuralink. And, people are already taking it at Whole Foods where they swipe their hands and get it. So, but it's going to come a time when it will be enforced, where the next stage of what they want to do to humanity is integration, where I can't remember who said it, but it's like by 2030, all of this technology is going to be built into our bodies. And at some point, people are going to be like, no, I want to hold my phone. I don't want to integrate it into my body. So when that time comes, as people are already getting more and more into AI and making sure it's your robot girlfriend, your robot fridge, you're going to go to your store and then you call your fridge and your fridge tell you whether you have meat in it or stuff.
that's already that
yes,
exists
it's
now.
already there. But I'm saying that it is that technology that we're accepting right now. Right now, we're already so dependent on technology just from our smartphones. But there's gonna come a time when they will want this technology to get away from your smartphone into your body. And when that time comes and you refuse to integrate, you're gonna be, you're gonna be kicked out of society, and that's when it's gonna get crazier.
And
it's coming soon.
Physically, it's also altering the entire landscape. I mean, we're seeing the data centers take over. That Project Stargate, $500 billion, is a lot of infrastructure for data centers, right? We live near data center.
The data centers
capital.
The data centers are well. There's the one in Utah, right? The one that was, I think it was Prism. Was the
one that was on fire?
No, I'm talking about that. I think it was the NSA data center. But the stuff that they're building now they're building like big brains for AI.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like we're altering the landscape for this new, what I think would be the next level of this. Right?
I mean, they're building buildings.
They're building data centers, and they're going to take over farmland. This is more erosion of the physical world that will be. You don't think that's happening?
I don't think that it's happening on the level. I don't think that it's happening in the way that you say that it is.
Oh, for sure.
Buying farmland.
For sure it is.
Bill Gates is buying farmland everywhere.
The amount of farmland, the amount of farmland that Bill Gates has purchased compared to the amount of farmland that's actually in the United States.
But you don't have to do that. Let's say one thing that's happening right now when they talk about when I'm talking about the integration and things. Like if you go like to Africa, right? In the past year or two, I've traveled like to several countries to minister, and you go to different countries and you see that the level of digitalization that has come even to like communities, villages, is crazy. And even the food, they have changed even the seed and the landscape and with fertilizers and stuff, so that the people, their food has to now depend on, the Monsantos. And so this is a worldwide phenomenon of a way to take over humanity. And for us, so they are going about it in several ways. They are doing the food, they are doing the technology. Of course, cryptocurrencies,
education,
central bank digital currency,
wealth,
education, and everything is happening together.
So I agree that a central bank digital currency is a bad thing, but when it comes to cryptocurrency, that's a totally different animal, especially when you're talking about something like Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is not run by anyone or any government.
But they're putting their hand in it.
Go on.
Well, let's see what happens with Bitcoin as the digitalization goes on.
Well, I mean, what do you mean when you say they're putting their hand in it?
No, I'm saying that like the government, right now, when they talk about central bank digital currency, and we're talking about independent. We're trying to build an independent monetary system out of the global monitoring system, money system, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So. Even though we're building the global, they're going to come with something like security, or we cannot track terrorists, we cannot do this, we cannot do that, and they're going to interfere in it.
On Bitcoin, or just CBDC?
Any kind of money.
Because again, I agree that CBDCs are bad, right? And it was actually a bill passed that is alleged to prohibit them, and I don't know how effective it will be, because there seems to be a tendency where you'll pass a bill that's supposed to do one thing, and then next thing you know, it does exactly the opposite. So there's that possibility. But the point that I'm making is they are alleged to have said that CBDCs are not going to happen in the United States because they are a means to track it. And is it your sense that those things are inevitable, or that the Lord's going to step in and stop them?
Actually, the Lord will step in and stop them when it gets to, because the Bible says that if these days were not stopped, no human being would survive. But I believe that at the rate that we're going right now, we are at a place right now where we're dependent on technology. We're in a place right now with submission to technology. And the next phase is going to be enforcement of integration. And that is when humanity is going to try to be like, oh no, just like they tried to force integration during COVID, where they tried to force everybody had to do this, everybody needed this or that. So when that comes into place and people are going to start stepping back and like, no, and then the heavy hand of the elite will come down, because now they are still trying to get people to accept it willingly. And when we get to a stage where you don't accept it willingly, they're going to have disruptive events from food crisis and, terrorists and, war and, weather manipulation and everything. And at the end of the day, diseases, especially diseases, because all they have to do is throw another like really major pandemic and the world will get into chaos again. So I'm just saying that humanity needs to be aware of the fact that we're moving through this utopian society that they want to create, and we should not be in such a hurry to imbibe all this crazy technology into our lives. I know we can do without it, but please don't get your own robot butler and robot girlfriend and robot fridge and everything, because you're just setting yourself up in a situation where they can take you over. So get a ranch like I have and have some cows.
I want to say I agree. I want to say like I'm not anti-technology. Clearly, look at me. I'm on a microphone right now.
I don't know if you
studio.
if people go by the things that you say. I'm
a
not
Luddite.
so sure.
I'm a Luddite.
Yeah.
And Luddites weren't anti-tech. They were anti-being replaced by mass autonomy. And I don't like that, But the thing with the stuff we're talking about with these AI guys, with Elon, Thiel, Hoffman, Altman, they're transhumanists, and they're overseeing this change. And that's their vision is a transhumanist vision, which I completely reject. It's anti-human. It's anti-God. So yeah, it's okay to embrace technology, but the technology they're putting on us that unfortunately Trump funded big time on his second day in office, and just last week on Thursday as well, with his AI action bill, whatever he announced on Thursday, this is against humanity. And when it comes again with the data centers, like, you don't understand. I believe they are mutilating the landscapes. They're taking up the farms. You can see it in Texas. You can see it right here in Virginia. And when you talk about the cloud seeding, which people are like, oh, the clouds didn't do anything. The thing that's funny with me with the cloud seeding is if you look into the Rainmaker CEO in particular, he says in the beginning, it's like the Neuralink. It's just for sight. It's just for vision and paraplegics. And what he says, it's just for farmland. It's just for this. What he's really saying, if you go look it up and see what he says, we're making rain. We're making fake rain for data centers. So like we're going to have fake rain for data centers. I mean, if that doesn't sound dystopian to everybody out there, I don't know what it is.
You know about cloud
What
seeding,
is
though?
rain?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Fake
What
rain.
is rain? Well, it used to be a beautiful.
Not water, apparently.
Not anymore. Not anymore, guys.
water.
Come on.
What is artificial rain, I guess.
No, they actually do
I don't mean to
cloud.
be a stickler. Yeah,
They actually do cloud seeding. It's the rainmakers in Texas. You know what happened in Hill Country? The rainmakers in Texas actually did cloud seeding the day before the flood that happened. You know what I'm saying? But they said, well, it was not caused by that. How do we know?
If I understand, the cloud seeding is real, and also there are.
real.
Look, I am fully
Flooded
on the same page with you when it comes to the idea that there are crazy scientists and members of the elite that want to do crazy things. There's a group of people that were trying to literally block out a portion of the sun.
You can say his name.
Bill
It's Bill
Gates.
Gates. Hey.
Is it Bill Gates?
He's
You
one of
guys
them.
wanted
He's
to
one of
block
them.
the sun,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Go back.
So I'm not sure. I didn't know that it was Gates, but
was Gates.
Of course,
I
right?
saw some some posts on it, and they were actually trying to keep it secret because it's literally comic book level crazy person villain stuff. So I don't disagree that there are people that have very terrible ideas that truly believe they're doing good things, and that the possibility of calamity that could come from it is far too high for us to actually experiment in, like blotting out the sun for a portion. But we're going to move on to this, a much lighter topic. Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's racy ad sparks outrage, but fans defend anti-woke style. Fox News is reporting. American Eagle campaign praised for killing woke advertising while others call it tone deaf. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that she's a Yahtzee. Sydney Sweeney is catching some heat for her latest brand deal. The White Lotus star's recent collaboration with American Eagle for the fall clothing campaign titled Sydney Sweeney Has Great Genes has sparked a mix of reactions on social media. While some have dubbed the campaign as tone deaf due to the alleged racial undertones, others have praised the actress for killing woke advertising. Let's see. In a promo video posted to the brand's Instagram, the 27-year-old Euphoria star walked towards an AE billboard featuring her and the tagline, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Sweeney crossed out jeans and replaced it with jeans before walking away. What do you think? Is Sydney Sweeney the next step towards the Fourth Reich?
It's another right-wing dog whistle.
I mean,
can you believe it, guys?
Have you guys seen any of the reactions on the TikTok reactions?
Amazing.
They are absolutely delightful.
How is that real? How are those people real?
I mean, look, man, I have enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Just because
She
it's
has great genes.
I mean, she does. She does. You know, I mean, part of me thinks that, part of me wants to believe that a little bit of it is just the left hating on the fact that they have lost control over something. So there was a significant portion of time where the left was overrepresented in advertising. You had unattractive people in Calvin Klein. Everyone remembers the overweight couple with a man that was wearing a brassiere, and Calvin Klein ran that, and that was supposed to be inclusive. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to run advertisements, you should be trying to be aspirational, because the people that are looking at the ad are going to say, I want to look like the person. I want to imagine myself like the person in the ad. That's why I will buy whatever product it is. So I personally am happy to see Sydney Sweeney and her beautiful blue jeans.
I'm just glad Dylan Mulvaney wasn't available.
I am extremely glad that Dylan Mulvaney was
I
not.
think as a black person, do I look black? Okay, good.
Wait, you are?
You're a little mocha on the mocha side.
Yeah, I know, right? So I think that people are too sensitive over racism. This is what I will say about that. I've lived in this country for 32 years. I worked in emergency rooms in Louisiana. I mean, like small town Louisiana. I had situations where some 80-something-year-old dude would be like, man, you know, I had a colored friend. I was like, sir, they don't call us colored anymore. You know? But so I think that, is racism real? Yes, I've experienced it once or a few times, but I don't get bent out of shape because of somebody's racism. That's number one. So I do believe that you shouldn't be racist, but you should not be bent out of shape because somebody calls you names. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was teaching a Bible study about when Joseph went to Egypt. When he went to Egypt, they said, no, people in Egypt, the Egyptians don't eat with the shepherds. So the Egyptians made Joseph, that was the governor, sit on one side to eat away from them. But he didn't get bent out of shape. He was still the governor. You know, so I'm like, people should not get so bent out of shape over it. But at the same time, do not be racist. But if somebody has a racist tendency, it's their problem. Don't get so bent out of shape over it that, you know, your mind is going all over the place because somebody called you black or some whatever. You know, so I think it's just, you know, people's lives, your life should be bigger than your color, or, you know.
The people, I noticed a trend with the people that were the most worked up about the Sydney Sweeney ads. They were generally white.
I know, right?
They
That's
were generally women, and they were generally unattractive.
That's weird.
And I think that I'm on to something with that. The fact that they are leftist women that are unattractive, and they're upset that Sydney Sweeney is talking about, you know, things that would make people look at her and say, oh, she's pretty.
Well, the left hates beauty.
They do.
They hate beauty. And that was one of the things I really liked about Trump's inauguration speech, was it was about legacy and beauty. You know, I love those things. And those are things that this country has completely abandoned.
The left hates beauty because beauty implies hierarchy, which the left absolutely hates. The idea that someone is born and is treated a different way than someone else, they just totally hate that actual reality, because the left generally just hates reality.
They hate joy.
They do. They do.
hate joy.
So
There's two things here. Obviously, what's her name? Sydney Sweeney.
He's acting like he doesn't know.
Whatever. No.
lies.
Come on.
Lies.
I don't watch a lot of TV
Lies.
and movies and BS, whatever. But obviously a total smoke show, 10 out of 10, total hottie. That's that. But the thing that I don't like about this is that I feel like these marketing teams think we're stupid. I think American Eagle knew exactly what the hell they were doing. They knew that this would bait people. And this is just extremely effective, just baiting people's like political tendencies towards one another. I just feel manipulated by these marketing people. And I feel like they think we're idiots.
But how intense is that?
I am offended by it, and like I think we're being baited, and people ate this up. People knew exactly what they were trying to get to.
It worked.
It was effective, yeah, in manipulating us though.
Yeah, that's what.
But like that's the
That's the
no, like I didn't care about this story. I thought it was a dumb story, but like people
They do think you know.
like the way to get your stupid story to go viral is by baiting people like racist tendencies or like so-called like or believe that they're being protecting against people who are being racist. And it's just like, are we that obvious? Are we that easy to be manipulated and be
Yes.
taken advantage of?
Look up, go
Especially
read.
It's like it's
the
something to
left
think
is
about.
easy to manipulate.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
read
like,
up.
how stupid are we? Where this like this
Tell
is a
me.
viral ad
The left is
campaign.
very-
Some guy's getting a
Nothing new.
promotion.
It's nothing new. Go read Edward Bernays.
And we're falling
This is
for
what they
it.
do. That
That's
was obviously their
advertisement.
plan.
Yeah,
before
yeah.
It worked.
the whole time. And it's
on
insane
you.
that a
was.
pretty face.
I mean, I'm just hearing the story for the first time. I don't watch
that's,
TV.
you know, us in the as the American public.
Yeah, but that is part of the advertisement. And
You were
know-
being tricked. You were being manipulated.
Wait, no.
No,
What's the
but
trick?
It's not a trick. It's
That
a
we're
trick.
agreeing
Talk
on
about
beauty.
this. It's a trick to,
That's just
to
good.
make
That's
it.
just good.
And it
marketing.
worked
Advertising.
because we're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel
But this is beyond
Marketing.
just
I would hire the
Hold on one second. I want.
Talking
would
about
hire
you mean
them.
this, like you mean like eugenics? What are you talking about? Like genes?
no that
what are you
when
talking
they
about?
made the ad, they knew what they
No,
were
they said he
implying.
has
in
great
the
That's
ad,
what I'm
that
saying.
she has
Like,
good
am I-
genes.
what you're saying? What they were implying? What is the what?
That he had great genes.
She has
because
great
she's
genes
white
as a
and
white
cute.
person.
And
Right.
then she canceled out genes and
I
put-
understand.
yeah, so when they say he had great
I don't
genes,
understand
everybody's
the
like,
issue.
"You're so racist. How
white
can you say you have
Okay,
great
hold on,
genes?"
hold on,
because
hold
you're
on,
white?"
White
hold on, hold on,
racist. That's
hold on,
stupid.
hold on
I
a
think
second.
American Eagle is race baiting.
Hold on a
Well,
second.
yeah,
Wait,
for
what?
Of
advertisement
course, it
purposes,
worked. Look, you're
and
talking
it's
about
working
it.
on
Yes,
us,
it worked.
and I'm mad about it. That's
works.
what I'm
Why?
saying.
I know,
I
right?
understand
Why
that
are
it
you
works.
mad?
That's why I say don't get bent out of
Because
shape
I feel
about
like we're
it.
being manipulated.
This is why dating's hard in New York City.
It's not hard in New York City, frankly. Only losers can't get dates in New York City. It's not like,
I want to go back to something you said, and I want you to articulate why you think people are being tricked. What is the trick?
we're being race baited. I guess tricked might not have been the best word. I think we're being manipulated. Not me, because I
You
didn't
think
fall for it.
you think we're being race baited just because they picked a blonde white woman for an ad after years of
No,
not
Shane,
having-
it's obviously more than that. What are you talking about?
But
They,
like-
they made it explicit in the ad with the jeans, right?
So,
Like,
but hold on,
that's-
hold on. So to that point, though, hold on one second. To that point, if it was someone like Holly Berry, right, who's a beautiful woman and she's a mocha color
great
woman,
genes.
and
She
she
white
were
or-
to say, if she were to say that she has great genes and she was wearing brown colored jeans and she said my genes are brown, like
It would have been different. It
Why?
wouldn't have been the same because
Why?
she's not white.
Exactly.
That's why.
Oh, so
I don't know
you're-
why you beating her. Like,
No,
well,
I mean,
yes, that's what
no, that's I'm literally
Yeah,
asking.
because
So you think
it would
it's
be
because?
different, and if she were black,
So you think
it
it's
would also
because
be
she's
different.
what? You think it's unacceptable because she's a white
I don't
person?
think it's unacceptable. I think we're being baited. That's it.
I actually think that in this time and age,
not
your
racist.
white people are getting too sensitive.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
I say I think your white people are getting too sensitive about this.
I'm Jewish. I'm not.
I agree.
Whatever.
yeah,
Even more
Schrodinger's
sensitive.
white guy.
Your white
If he had a yarmulke
That's the most-
on,
the most
and
Jewish-
my jeans
the
were
most
best,
Jewish
you
thing
guys
that
would have
you
been flipping
the most
out.
Jewish thing that you can
would have
possibly
never heard
do
the
is
end
say,
of it
"Oh,
if
I'm
they were the
Jewish, I'm
Jews.
white,
I
I'm
know,
Jewish,
we're
I'm
the
white."
chosen
Getting too
ones. My
sensitive.
jeans are the best.
or Serge.
Would never hear the end of it.
I feel so bad.
Especially leftist white people, you're too sensitive.
Yeah, I think you're being.
And you know, I think,
agree.
and then a lot of brown and black people are like really manipulating y'all, and you're falling for it.
I kind of think that
glad
it's
you
right.
said black and brown people.
And the reason I
Yeah.
say that is because if this were if it were a person of color or something, it wouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah.
And I think that if we actually are like people on the right are alleged to liberals, actual liberals, not progressives, not people that are communists or leftists. If you're actually a person that believes that you should judge people by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin, then we shouldn't have a problem if a white person does this or a black person does this or a brown person. It doesn't matter the color of the person. Now, they are tapping into what
our
is going
society
on in our society now, but I do think that they're making fun of it. I think that they're mocking the left. I think that was the point of it. That's why it's worked, is because the left is so worked up about it. People on the right aren't upset except for Elaad, and
I'm mad about the manipulation. Sweeney's mad hot. I'm copping myself a pair of American Eagle jeans.
good on you.
Wow.
American Eagle,
New ad.
baby. Is that are they made in the USA?
I
I
do
don't
believe
They
they
just have
are.
America in the name.
I don't know.
Coming
They're
back
probably
in
made
style. When
China.
I was a youngster, American Eagles was all the rave. Then it fell off. Now it's coming back.
Do we have any of the criticisms of this on deck here? Let me see if I can. Elaad, why don't you go ahead and extol why this is so terrible one more time, and I'll see.
No,
if I
I mean, I think she looked really good in the jeans. I wish we had the ad up. Blue eyes are beautiful. And I mean, Sweeney's been I feel like a cultural icon, a fan favorite on Twitter for some time now. And I didn't watch Euphoria.
I've never seen anything with her. I only know her because
I don't
people
even
keep
know who
sharing
she
her
is.
on
I
Twitter.
know she's mad hot. I don't know what she's been in
I don't
and
know who
whatnot,
she is.
but I'd watch. I'd probably.
So she knows him. He knows
Yeah.
her.
Did you were you aware of this? Were you aware of the Sydney Sweeney's
I know,
bathwater
right? He
soap?
I feel like I've seen other things.
think
where
he
you
thinks
like
he's
call her
drinking.
hot.
Were you aware of the Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap?
I think he's very
No,
upset
no.
about this. You know her.
No.
Have you been watching
I
her
know.
video like
So
over and over?
It's his home
So
screen.
the Dr. Squatch, I think is the name of the company. They made a soap that was Sydney Sweeney's soap, and it was made with some of her bathwater. Apparently.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, I don't
That's
know.
disgusting.
Nasty.
I don't know
That's
the
so like
amount.
desperate. Like, what do you even?
They sold out.
Go kiss a woman. Like,
They sold out.
Bar soap in.
Are you? But were you opposed to? Would
Who
you be
bought them,
opposed to that? Do you
groupies?
find
I'm not
that
opposed
objectionable?
To
That's a
women selling their
groupies to get
soap
that. I
scum.
guess.
It's better than what the genesis of that was, because it was the genesis of that was there. It was an OnlyFans girl that was actually selling her bathwater.
I'm against prostitution.
You think that's prostitution selling your bathwater?
No. I'm just.
Okay, I'm
I'm
just
just
thinking.
saying. I'm
Oh.
not against the bathwater selling. Against prostitution, though. I just wanted to put that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that.
I don't know. Some libertarian types, I think, would.
And OnlyFans.
Although
is
they don't call it
prostitution,
prostitution anymore
I feel
because
like
that's
there's
politically
levels
incorrect.
to it.
That's right.
right? There's levels to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
It's politically incorrect. They call it
Sex work.
sex workers. Yeah, so
That's the euphemism.
Which also that what that does is it takes your average like go-go dancer or stripper, and it brings the actual prostitute to the level of a sex worker, or to the level of.
I think there's the issue of the capitalism in it, and how that it's the most lucrative thing that a lot of young women
Serge
could
is
do.
a.
Unfortunately,
I mean,
What?
Elaad is a commie again.
what?
You
All right.
bring your issues with capitalism.
Well, I think that some markets could be imperfect. I'm still a staunch capitalist. Obviously, I think it's just recognizing capitalism for what it is. We could. Sarah Sweeney. Sydney
The
Sweeney.
spotlight's on you now,
let's say
bro.
something about
sir.
prostitution and sex work or whatever. Remember that sex is a spiritual thing. So if you're gonna like be jumping from person to person, you actually end up forming soul ties. That is why you can break up with somebody for years, and then you hear one music that you played together and you start crying because when you sleep with somebody, you form a soul tie. So that affects the soul. So jumping. From person to person, calling them. It's
What does
not
my
good.
number need to be before I'm broken?
I'm just saying that actually,
Spiritually.
technically, it should just be one-on-one.
Stuck for Allah.
That is what God said in the Bible.
We all fall short.
You got to
I
read
know
that. You
we all
got to
fall
read that New
short.
Testament a lot.
I
God's
agree.
glory.
I agree with all falling short.
Yes,
So-
of course, of
But
course.
that is the standard.
So we are going to jump to this story, our last story of the night, from the New York Times. Under siege from Trump and Musk, a top liberal group falls into crisis. Scrambling to pay legal fees, Media Matters has dialed back its criticism, trimmed its staff, and contemplated closing entirely.
Oh crap! Timcast is going to lose one subscriber right now. We're in big trouble. It's gonna lose
Media Matters, a nonprofit group that has played a key role in liberal politics, is struggling to withstand months of legal assaults by President Trump's allies, offering a glimpse of what might be in store for even well-funded targets of his retribution campaigns. Keep in mind, Media Matters' total reason for existing was to attack right-leaning outlets. And it did not matter if there was any validity to any of their attacks. All they did was try to drum up any way they could criticize right-leaning outlets, and then they would they were one of the first groups to do what we consider today modern cancel culture. They would go after advertisers and they would say, how can you advertise on this site? How can you advertise? Did you hear what they said? Did you see? And they would twist the stories to whatever degree necessary in order to scare off advertisers for Rush Limbaugh, I believe on Fox News, etc. So it's under the heading, the Democrat Party's troubles. But back to the New York Times. The organization, which is funded by some of the Democratic Party's biggest donors, has racked up about $15 million in legal fees over the past 20 months to defend itself against lawsuits by Elon Musk, in addition to investigations by Mr. Trump's Federal Trade Commission and Republican state attorneys general. The group has slashed the size of its staff and scrambled to raise more cash from skittish donors, according to documents and interviews with 11 people familiar with the organization. organizations fight to survive. That might not be enough. Media Matters tried to settle with Mr. Musk by offering concessions, but the sides were far apart and talks fizzled. Even when the group has triumphed in court, Mr. Musk has appealed or filed new cases elsewhere. As a last resort, it has considered shuttering, according to investors in an internal document. This alone is why Elon Musk is a net good for humanity.
Well, I like Media Matters. They wrote 2 amazing stories about me. I just like to read those headlines from 2022. Timcast contributor gives full throttle endorsement of Ye for president. It was true. And my other favorite one was I was on their list of extremists, bigots, and conspiracy theorists for YouTuber Tim Pool's 2022 guests in review.
Yeah, I didn't make it, and
I'm sorry.
I was bummed.
I was shocked I did.
So what Media Matters and other organizations like this do is subscribe to all of the right-wing news channels, including mainstream news channels, Fox, Timcast IRL, Steven Crowder, even more extreme people, and what have you. And they essentially just clip farm and then write articles about people and then try to start different boycotts to cancel different people. And it essentially sounds like Elon Musk single-handedly, more or less, was able to take them out. Which is something I feel like, yes, you need to give him a large amount of credit.
This is essentially what Peter Thiel did with Peter Thiel and Hulk Hogan did with Gawker, which was a good thing as well.
And I do have one particular gripe with groups like this. It's not like there's also this one other group that I think worked very similar. It's like Hate Watch or right wing Hate Watch. And the thing is that they're particular in bigotries that they seek out to find. So they're only interested in bigotry when it comes from right wing people to use as political slander. So I've actually interviewed before one of the people who does work like this called Jared Holt. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's very popular and prominent in circles and work like this. And I've actually asked him about it. Like, what about hateful or violent rhetoric coming from people like Linda Sarsour? And he was like, well, she's not right wing. And I was like, well, she's used the same rhetoric as famous white nationalist David Duke has. And then he said, we're only focused on a particular type of bigotry coming from a particular place. So it's like, you're only interested in bigotry for political uses. And I thought that was such a tell when I interviewed him on that. And it's just like, you're not interested in bigotry writ large. You're interested in bigotry insofar as you could use it against your enemies. And like, how much of scum of the earth?
Which means they're not actually interested in bigotry.
You don't actually care about hatred or bigotry.
Yes.
You care about trying to slander your political opponents. Yeah. And it's just some of the most low-class scum work you could do. And maybe I need to retract everything I said about Elon Musk. So
I do think the Gawker thing was a little different though, because Thiel went after them because Gawker outed him as being gay, and that is true.
Wasn't it the sex tape allegedly?
And with Hulk Hogan it was, and then Thiel funded Hogan. That one's a little, and I don't like Gawker. It's no defense of Gawker, and I don't agree with it, but these people were degenerates who make up stuff and like clip stuff out of context and try to do that, over politicized it. So I do think it's a little different than Gawker.
I guess
Thiel's gay, and they outed him, and he was just mad.
But the release of Hulk Hogan's private information,
the Hulk Hogan thing,
that's
a different story. I know. But then Thiel funded it. Yes, Thiel funded Hulk's thing. So it's like that.
But it was also legitimate.
Hulk's
yes, but there was beefs to squash, So he needed Peter Thiel to be able to fund the lawsuit, and without that, so you create enough enemies for yourself.
And it's just that part that weirds me out. The Hulk Hogan thing was, I think, the degenerate thing to do, and like 99% of all journalists are terrible, So I totally agree. I'm looking at a lot in the face.
I'm self-loathing,
but look, I know how it goes.
Like, Media Matter was just had a business model, because sometimes people look at things like that and think that they are probably it's probably less about ideology than it is about them. They found an ideology that they can use to make money, and I believe right now that the country has turned right. They should shut down, close shop, and wait. Hopefully in another 8 years, maybe Kamala can come back and then they can start again.
I actually heard that Kamala was looking into running for president again, because there was talk of her running for governor of California, and she was advised not to, because apparently being the governor of California sucks. So
Blair White's going to be governor.
I hope so.
Dude, if I'm Kamala Harris, though, I'm totally running again, because I'm a politician with a huge ego, and I'd have a shot. She would have a shot at it if she were the Democrat.
Do you really believe that?
Totally, yeah. Anything.
I
could
mean,
happen.
she'll have a shot
I mean,
as
like
a
elections could be 60-40, and it could be even a coin flip sometimes. Like if I thought I had an opportunity to be president, then I'd stay in the race. And I think you're actually seeing this same phenomena play out in New York City right now, with Cuomo staying in the race, with Eric Adams staying in the race. If there's inkling that these people could have success,
I think
there's so much ego.
I think
There's so much ego with these guys that it's I might as well take the shot.
I think they start politics and it becomes like a drug.
Yeah,
And
totally.
they can't get off it, and so they run for governor, and then if it doesn't work, then after they finish that, then they run for senate, and if they, then they
Well, how many times did Joe Biden run for president before winning?
For like
1,000
times, like 20
exactly.
times. Or
So if
something
Kamala
like that.
Harris keeps at it,
At least he managed to become a
if
president.
you're taking a
in his lifetime.
25% chance 5 times.
Joe Biden thought about running for office the same way Hunter Biden thought about crack cocaine.
He was a good-looking 50-something-year-old, though.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Considering all that healthy crack he was on. Yeah.
All the
He's 50 what?
let me double check that. But he looked good for his age.
You think?
Yeah, for his age.
It depends on the picture.
No, on that video. I watched that video. I don't have internet. We'll just have to
Take your word
50
for it.
Allegedly.
Hunter Biden.
So at least
55.
Elon does something good. I mean, human beings are not like, whether they are human or not, but people are not like totally like evil or totally like good. So that's, so no matter how, apart from maybe the devil, no matter how bad somebody is, there's something good about them. So
Great.
I give props to Elon for taking down Media Matters, and I give props to Elon for letting me speak on X. And like he said that he will not cancel his greatest critics. So I hope he doesn't cancel me. But at the same time, I still believe that he's ushering in the biz system, and that I am not.
If I could get one now that I think about it, he's actually trying to primary a bunch of Republicans too, allegedly. So it's
his
really hard to
ego.
take the good with the bad with this guy. So
That guy
we'll
has
see what he
a
actually.
big
Just
ego.
don't make any
He
false
promises
idol
everything.
out of any politician, because it is a disease. It's a drug. You can't worship any of these people.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I guess we are okay with the attacking Media Matters
can go.
generally. Or are we? Is that the consensus
You
here?
got to take the good with the bad.
Are you manipulated by this?
But I really
Come on,
not totally.
spit it out.
It depends on if he primaries their Republicans and funds their
Well, it
opponents
has
as he
nothing to
said.
do with this.
Well, no, you have to take things in totality. I think this is
No.
great. I think
One
this
case
is
by
I think this
case.
is
I mean,
fantastic.
nobody is totally bad. So even like I said,
By
By
the way, I looked it up.
That
He
is the way
promised-
left. You know what? That is
promised-
the way
he
the
promised $2
leftists look at.
trillion. He promised $2 trillion, by the way. Of
That is the way
cuts to
leftists look at things. You do
come
one
on.
bad thing,
Yeah.
and everything about you is bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's-
I mean, you can actually be bad in one thing, and like I say, all of us human beings work. I always say, cut other human beings a slack, because we're all kind of a little messed up. You know what I'm saying? We're never like, none of us is like that good. We have our good parts and our bad parts, and cut each other a slack. Give
Yeah.
me some slack, I'll give you some grace.
All right, we're going to go to Super Chat. So smash the like button, share the show with your friends, share the show with everyone you know. Go to timcast.com, join our Discord, and head on over to rumble.com and become a member so you can watch the after show, which is coming up in just a few minutes. And if you're a member of timcast.com and you're in our Discord, which you should become a member and join the Discord, there's dozens of thousands, 20,000, something like that. Members, and they all are hanging out. There's a bunch of different chats. There's a couple people that even got married in there. So
Wow,
join
awesome.
the that's good.
Beautiful.
That's good stuff. So join the Discord and become a member at rumble.com and come watch the after show, because today in the after show we're going to talk about things that we're actually not allowed to talk about on YouTube still to this day.
Yes.
You will get in trouble if you say these things on YouTube, and we are going to dive into that tonight in the after show. But right now we're going to go to your super chats. Let's see. Big 7588 said, from the leading headline you would think that gun control doesn't work. It doesn't. That's the thing. Especially in a country with more guns than people. We've got something like 400 million guns in the United States. Those are rookie numbers. You need to pump those up. And
It's a gun-free zone too. This happens.
Oh yeah, gun-free zone,
Believe
gun-free zone, gun-free state.
This
I'm
asshole
sure.
read that sign and then
gun.
brought a firearm
believe that?
into it. What
Unbelievable.
what kind of freaking country do we have, Shane?
No one reads
We
signs.
got to deport.
No one knows how to read
more.
anymore.
Nobody. They don't read.
We got to
They don't understand.
Yep. Phil, I'm going to peace out.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to be on Inverted World Live at 10 o'clock tonight. Come join us there. We'll be on YouTube and Rumble. It's a call-in show. Give us a call. We'll be there till midnight, and we're going to have on Brad Binkley to talk about a lot of crazy stuff. So,
What do you mean by
see you guys
crazy
there.
stuff? Cryptids?
Well, this morning, Trump said, "I've never been to the island." Then he talked about Clinton and Larry Summers and the Harvard connections with Jeffrey Epstein are very interesting. So we're gonna go over that and then probably the Ghislaine stuff with whatever, she said 100 names. But I'll probably also talk about a hostile alien spaceship heading towards Earth.
Yeah.
Totally fake BS story. But that it does accept PayPal and Venmo, I heard, like the U.S. Treasury. So that's a good look. And thanks guys for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much, Shane. All right. So, Super Puff King says, did CNN just say that the shooter's possibly white? Say that the shooter's possibly white? Phil Cast is killing it. Thank you very much. I'm not sure.
Everyone always rushes to paint the shooter in the image that they want
There
them
we
to
go.
be, sadly.
Yeah. I'm not sure what CNN said. We were doing a show.
Yeah,
so I
somebody
can't
said
tell you.
the shooter was saying free Palestine, so they probably don't like Arabs.
Yeah, I'm
and then
not.
somebody wants to say that they're white, but the shooter looked black.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
It doesn't matter. So
I actually
they're
think
crazy.
that he's some kind of South Asian, to be honest, Southeast Asian. He was he was definitely a darker skin color, but he wasn't a black man. I think he looked like he was some kind of islander.
and-
But that's just my assumption.
The bottom line is that shooter is messed up in the head, whether they are white, black, or any other color.
Yeah.
So it's messed up in the head.
And I'm not particularly convinced about the Free Palestine stuff.
I know, right?
If I understand correctly, there's NFL offices up there on the 33rd floor of that building.
Oh, what the fuck?
People have said that like he was. I guess they've proven that he was like playing. I don't know if in college level or what it was, high school level.
Wow.
Yeah, and then apparently was the NFL buildings. Everyone's saying it's the Blackstone stuff, but it's just like but it was the NFL offices from what I understand. I've been looking up the whole show, trying to find out more information about it. There's this one right here, Phil, that I want to quickly lead you to really fast. This one right here, you should mention this one.
Let's see. General Cost the Destroyer says, sick of all the posts calling an AR-15 an assault rifle.
It was a PSA.
It is a
AR-15,
PSA.
so-
It is a PSA. Oh,
It is-
it was really?
Yeah,
I don't
pull
even
that
say.
down.
Don't even. Oh, okay. All right.
Is that bad?
No, it's not bad, but
It's just what it is.
I've got love for the people
I
over
understand.
at PSA.
But it was
they
proven
love
to
the
be
pores.
AR-15.
They love the pores.
Yeah.
They make sure that the pores can have AR-15s and self-defense tools as well. So, but yes, it is technically inaccurate to call an AR an assault rifle. AR stands for Armalite Rifle, made by Eugene Stoner, and it is just a semi-automatic rifle. It's not anything special. Let's see here. We're going to go to the Rumble Rants. Shane H. Wilder says, I have a bone to pick. I get to West Virginia and there's no Mountain Mama waiting for me. I was promised a Mountain Mama, and all I get is people freaking out because Tim took off the beanie on cam. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Shane. I don't know. I don't know that there is a Mountain Mama that is provided to everybody. This sounds like government-issued girlfriends, and I thought that we kind of decided that was a bad idea.
That's actually all in Montgomery County. They wrote the song about Montgomery County, Maryland. It's just over the hill, man. It's not far.
But it's actually in Maryland.
It's Montgomery County, Maryland.
Nice.
It's real close. Just get on a public transit. You'll be
Keep looking. You'll find your Mountain Mama.
Shimo20 says, the global battle deeper than left-right. It's good versus evil with witchcraft and predictive programming. The Simpsons. Do you see the correlation between Amazon's Utopia and COVID rollout's sterilization? I do not, because I've never seen Utopia.
Oh yeah, me either.
So I don't know.
No.
Well, they've done a lot of studies with the COVID vaccine and stuff, and it actually has reduced fertility in many people. Not just the vaccine, but also the spike protein itself, because of.
We can get into that in the after show. So make sure they're on Rumble, so they'll actually be able to watch in the after show. Let's see here. McSwivel says, why does Shane look like he just got unmasked by Scooby and the gang? That's what he looks like all the time, man. Yeah. I don't know that there's anything special about today. Let's see. Sailor Motoko says, Dr. Stella, I'm so happy to see you on Timcast. You are amazing, and you gave me so much hope and reassurance during COVID. I will never forget that. I love you, and thank you, Dr. Stella. That's awesome. That's great. Let's see. What do we got? Let's see.
That works.
Joel Gulick says, member for 4 years, please help us crowdfund our Rescue Cat's emergency dental surgery. Hashtag help turtle cat. So I assume you can go on to the Twitters and look up help turtle cat, and you will be able to help this person take care of their cat. Let's see. Bliss Girl says, Dr. Stella is brave for speaking out during COVID. Only Alex would have her on. She is wise and a woman of faith. Glad she is still speaking out. That's great. Got a lot of fans tonight. Joel Gelino?
Joe Giglio.
Joe Giglio.
Yeah, Joe Giglio.
Says, today was my first day of work at the Park Ave building. I left early and came home to see an active shooter in my building. Pray for the officer, KIA.
Wow, man.
Wow, man. Well, I'm glad that that you're safe and that this didn't have a direct effect on you. But yeah, pray for the officer and the other 2 people that were injured, and F the shooter. Let's see. Purpill says, dating is hard because women are shopping on apps. Are you talking about on shopping apps, or they're shopping for men on apps?
I think shopping for men on apps.
Okay. I think that dating is hard for a lot of reasons, particularly because of things like apps, and also I think that people have an odd concept in their head of what actually a good relationship is. And I think that if they actually spent time getting to know some of the people they date, they would find that it's actually, that they're actually more compatible than they kind of feel like in the beginning. But I think that people are just like, oh, this one box isn't checked, so I'm not going to go out with them again. I think that happens a lot.
Yeah, people are not even talking to each other anymore.
Yeah.
Talking to their phones.
If you sit down with someone and they're like, well, I need this, and this, I mean, that's very off-putting, from whether it be from a man or from a woman. If a guy's like, oh, you got to do all these things,
Because it's like expectations. Yeah, where the problem is like they're setting expectations for like their utopia or their ideal. You're never going to meet a utopia or an ideal. And I feel like a lot of people that think that socialism or communism, they think it's this pie in the sky, like you're going to reach this perfect utopia. Yeah, it sounds perfect, but you're not going to get there. It's the same thing with this. They always want a guy, what's 6 figures, 6 foot tall, 6-pack, right? All the sixes, right? And then it's just like that population is so tiny.
It's
and everybody wants them. So
yeah,
exactly.
They're totally like egoistic. But I think people are not talking to each other, and people are entitled. So relationships are work. You got to give and take.
Yeah.
So if everybody is entitled, it doesn't work because you want 100% from the person and you don't want to give anything. And especially like, Gen Z, they're like, I have Gen Z children, so.
and you know.
Sometimes they don't want to give. It's like Gen Zs don't want to give. They want to come and get 100% from you, but they don't want to give. So at the end of the day, that selfish entitled, this is actually like a makeup for disaster for relationships.
For sure.
The best advice that I've heard is the best way that I've heard people articulate it is, you have to be willing to, both parties have to be willing to give 100% all the time.
Yes.
And some days you're not going to have to give 100%. But some days your partner is going to need 100%. And some days they're not going to be able to give you anything. And just because today they need 100% and they can't give you anything doesn't mean that's justification for throwing the relationship away. So I think that's great. That's great advice. AK Storm 49 says, with that pop, I thought Phil was carrying a P320. Also, Phil, what are your thoughts on Sig Sauer with the P320 debacle? I think that it's terrible for the people that have been injured because of the defective P320s. It's bad when an entire military branch stops allowing their service members to carry your sidearm, which is what the Air Force has done, and I think there are other branches that are following suit. I personally have never been a SIG guy. I've always been a Glock guy. The P320 does not have a trigger safety, which is actually something that's fairly standard on striker-fired handguns nowadays. Glock, Smith, Canik. I mean, you can go down the list. The vast majority of your striker-fired...
Even like Tauruses, bro.
Yep.
Like everything.
I mean, it's become a standard. I mean, look, ever since Glocks the first Glock came out and the patent allowed people to copy them. Every manufacturer now has their own version of the Glock. So whether it be the M&P Glock, the Smith & Wesson M&P Glock, or whether it be Canucks or whatever, whoever it is, they've all got a gun that is essentially a copy of a Glock, and the reason is because Glocks are so reliable and they work so well. So my take on it is don't carry a SIG. I mean, don't carry, at least not a P320. But I've also heard that some of the top tier military units had been carrying the SIG rifles, and they've been having some problems with those as well. So I think SIG has a lot of contracts, I believe, with the Australian military, and I think that it's a little bit more than the company's QC can handle. So we'll see what happens in the future. But if you're asking, what I carry, I just carry a Glock 19, and it's all Glock parts, pretty standard. So let's see. Let's go to these super chats. Morpheus HD says the doctor is smarter and more aware than everyone else on this panel. Well,
come on, bro.
She's a doctor. What do you expect, man?
She's gone to a lot of school. Her brother was a doctor.
Why the hate? Why the hate? Give us a break. I yell at a stick for a living. So, let's see. Honky Kong says you need a machine interface like a Neuralink to use cybernetic prosthetics. Yes, you do. And I think that the point that Shane was making is that should be a no-no, or at least he doesn't want anything to do with that. Personally, I'm not particularly anti-Neuralink or anti the new technologies that are coming out. I think that they're going to produce a lot of positive. And of course, there is the possibility of significant downside. Like when it comes to AI, if AGI is actually achievable, it's a scary thing. And even the people that are working on it are like, this is kind of scary technology. But you kind of don't have the option, because if China or another country gets AGI before the United States, if you're talking about super intelligence, hypothetically, you have a super intelligence, and one country develops a super intelligence. That super intelligence will be able to immediately, within hours of it being developed, be able to come up with a way to prevent all other countries from ever achieving super intelligence in their in their AI, and the other countries will never know that the super intelligence from, say, if it was the United States that developed it, they'll never know that the U.S. was the reason that they couldn't come up with super intelligence, because an AGI, a super intelligent AGI, will be able to do like 1,000 years worth of thinking in an afternoon, because that's what super intelligence is. It's exponentially growing. Its intelligence gets exponentially better, exponentially faster. So once the super intelligence is created, it's not like it'll get better the way that computers get better now. In an afternoon, it's going to be 1,000 times better. And in a day, it'll be millions and millions and millions of times more intelligent and faster than it was before. So the idea that you could just say, oh, we're going to all agree not to develop super intelligent AI, that's not an option for any country, because whoever gets there first is going to have the edge over the whole world. So, and then it's do you want China to have that edge? China's pretty clearly, regardless of your criticisms of the United States, China is pretty obviously a worse situation if China were to have. It would be a worse situation if China had this kind of super intelligence as opposed to the United States. So, I just don't think that it's an option where we can just say, well, we don't need to. And right now, China's building far more electricity production, which is the very foundation of AI. The ability to produce electrons is what is actually the most important thing about AI. And China is building way more capacity to produce electricity. So that's something the United States absolutely has to get up on. So
I wonder if AGI would be able to get any of these guys laid.
I think that's a yes. I mean,
That's gonna be dangerous. But they already have like robo girlfriends and
Yeah.
robo boyfriends. They're already planning for it.
I mean,
No, to get you the real thing.
They actually okay.
If AGI could turn you
remember-
into someone who could get laid, like if that'll be the true test of
Wait,
this.
was that directed
Yeah,
at me?
but-
No, just
How
to.
about
Girlfriend at home, dude.
Oh, hey, yeah.
we need to have this conversation after this? I need to.
We can dive into whatever you'd like.
why the AGI?
Oh, we got a Go Gadget Jimbo says I'll be watching back later, but I wanted to post that I'm in the hospital with the wife in labor with our third little girl. Congratulations, sir.
Mazel tov.
Thank you very much for letting us know, and thank you very much for having 3. That is absolutely wonderful. Oh, third little girl, is that your? If you see this, shoot me a message if it's your third child or you're just your third little girl. Do you have boys as well? Have you really gone above and beyond more than the 3 for the replacement? So, but yeah, we appreciate it. And congratulations to you and your wife. Snozberry says, thank you, doctor, for all your work and your courage. Do you think it's worth going into the medical field, such as becoming a nurse or doctor, or do you have any recommendations to make an impact?
I think people should still go into the medical field. You know, yesterday at the steps of the Supreme Court, I was talking about the medical community doing a post-mortem because right now there's a lot of distrust in the medical community because of everything that has happened. But we still want at least, good doctors, good nurses, people that are going to take care of humanity. And we still want people that are going to stand for the humans and not follow big pharma and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's always good to go into the medical field.
Awesome. Afghan said, Elaad is mad that he doesn't have chesticles like Sydney Sweeney. Is this true?
Why would I want chesticles? What a weird thing to call that. What's wrong with this audience?
What's wrong with this?
What's wrong with you? It's such a weird thing to call things, bro.
Is that a new way to call breasts?
Yeah, I think that's
Nah,
what.
nobody says that.
Yes.
No, that's the first
You've never
time
heard
hearing that.
chesticles?
No, I'm
Wow.
hearing it the first time.
It's got to be super old then because
I'm telling you, that's what.
I would say she's not particularly endowed. Like, that's not her.
you are incorrect, sir.
Oh, she does? She
Yes.
got him like that?
You
All
are
right,
you are
In
incorrect.
the ad, it didn't look like that. In the
Fair
ad,
enough.
It didn't look.
Yeah, you're gonna love this next one I got here for Phil.
Yeah. Let's see. Ice Quartz says, I hope the right wing remembers that Sydney Sweeney was campaigning for Kamala Harris. Funny how conservatives forget. She is the call me daddy girl who vouched for abortion with Kamala. Is that the case? I don't recall that. But
Still think she's hot.
yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't affect my estimation of whether or not she's pretty, and it certainly is not going to affect any of the people that are up in arms about her being being the next incarnation of the Queen of the Fourth Reich. So
With dudes saying things like chesticles, I could see why they didn't get laid, actually. Like, are you kidding me?
Carlos David D4P says, great topics today. Can we address the genocide that's going on in Nigeria where 50 Christians were gruesomely slaughtered? I did not know
It happens.
that this was going on. But I do know that there are a lot of countries in Africa that are like, there's a lot of violence that happens in a lot of places in Africa. A lot of it is religiously motivated. There's, if I understand correctly, Boko Haram is still an active group.
Group in Nigeria, yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you have most countries, like especially in sub-Saharan Africa, it's actually divided like between the south that is Christian and the north that is Muslim, and there's always this fights. And of course, Boko Haram is just they do jihad just like everyone else, and they come out, they have, and of course, when they talk about Islam being telling people to shoot a few people so that you can end up with 50 virgins or something, yeah. So all that stuff still brings problems.
Yeah, that's
It's
terrible.
back to Ishmael and Isaac.
I've seen a lot of. There's a guy on,
Neighborhood fight.
yeah, there's a guy on YouTube. I can't remember his name, but he's always talking about this specifically. But shout out to him. I wish I could remember his name, but I can't recall off the top of my head right now. A lot going on. But anyways,
A lot going on. A lot of buttons to push.
War is going on in many countries, though.
Yeah.
Over 40 countries have active wars going on right now. It's part of the end times.
President Nixon's revenge says internet censorship is being proposed now in the U.S. to protect the children. This is to censor us. 1A and 2A are essential speed bumps to tyranny. I was not aware that there was censorship being proposed currently, or at least if there is in bill form, and by what I mean is if there is censorship being proposed at the congressional level.
Yeah, it's that thing we talked. I don't know if we talked about it, that the Protect the Kids Act. They're trying to basically. It's the same thing as, I forget what it was in the past.
Is it where you have to be 18 to access adult sites?
No,
Register?
they're saying it's to like protect people from information or footage that's bad. And I understand that I was unfortunate when I was young and on 4chan and stuff. I've seen crazy stuff in my life. Living in Africa as well. But the point is, like, they're trying to say that it's to protect children. And it's like the thing with net neutrality.
Yeah.
Right? They tried to say, it's just for this, it's just for that. But then when you actually go read the actual fine print, you're like, oh, wow, it's not actually what did that. Or like when you go and read, everyone's going to hate me for saying this, but Donald Trump said no taxes on tips, but then you find out it's only up until a certain amount of money, and it's only if you do this, it's only if you do that. That's what's happening. And they put it really deep in the bill and hope you don't read it. So it's always good to take stuff in new bills if you got the information, throw it in AI and say, what's crazy about this? But yeah, anyways.
Sergeant Buck says, instead of a scary black rifle, please refer to the AR-15 as a rifle of color. It's my opinion that
a good one.
Instead of having a scary black rifle or a rifle of color, you should rattle can your rifle to resemble the foliage of your area. So depending on where you are,
that's a good idea.
That's going to affect the color of your rifle. Let's see. Jammy Brocodile says the Sidney Sweeney tantrum just goes to show that the left's arguments always come from being jealous of the beautiful, the rich, the normal. Hopefully the rest will follow AE and make actual ads again. I agree entirely. The left is purely motivated by envy, by hatred of reality, by hatred of people that have more than them, people that are in better positions than them, or just people that they perceive to be in better positions for them. And one of the features or one of the phenomenon that you get with the internet and with the Instagram culture that we have now is everybody makes their life look as polished and as great and as desirable and utopian as possible. So when you go on to these sites and you're scrolling or swiping through the reels or what have you, you see an idealized version of whatever person's life, and you don't see that most people or almost everybody have all kinds of problems and struggles that they deal with. And so that makes people that are struggling or that are jealous of others or have a just overall bad attitude, it makes them angry. And the left is there to sweep them up and say, hey, here's a solution. Revolution, which is never a good solution. But smash the like button. One more? Oh, we got one more. Okay. SPQR 2008 says, I need an ATR cover of Snuff Out the Lights, Yasma's song. I don't know the song.
Oh, I don't know. I thought you would. I had no idea.
No, I'll have to Google that and take a look and hear what it is.
All right, my bad.
But yeah, so smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. Please spread the word. It's because of you and people like you that this show is as successful as it is. So, Dr. Immanuel, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah. So, come back and listen, and let's get into real arguments now that we're off YouTube.
There you go.
Let's go.
Awesome. Doctor, it's been awesome to have you on, and I'm excited to get to the after show and get into some of the stuff that we couldn't get into during the main show. Mm-hmm. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am Elaad Eliyahu. I'm the White House correspondent here and also still a field reporter. Recently, I've been in New York covering ICE and Border Patrol detain illegal aliens right outside of the courts in Manhattan. I've been covering that on my Instagram and Twitter at Elaad Eliyahu, in addition to my White House coverage. Some of my work there has been some of the most fascinating, thrilling stuff that I've done in a long time. So very great angles and visuals of what's going on in these courts. The top thing on the Trump agenda really embodied. So thanks for tuning in, and you could find me on those platforms.
Awesome. Go ahead.
And I think they can find me on drstellamd.com. Like I said, for the past 5 years, we've been on the forefront of treating patients, making sure we take care of the American people.
Awesome.
On drstellamd.com, you can see all the things that we do.
Do you have an X account?
Yes, Stella _Immanuel. On X.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix, and you can follow the band All That Remains on all of the music platforms. Stick around for the after show on rumble.com, and we will see you all tomorrow.